Welcome to Celeb Insider, where we peel back the curtain on Hollywood's biggest scandals, hottest gossip, and the stories that keep you glued to your screen. Today, we're diving headfirst into a story that's got the entire world talking, a scandal so explosive it could rewrite the history of hip-hop. Picture this, a man who built a music empire from the streets of Harlem, a 3-time Grammy winner, a fashion icon, now standing in a Manhattan courtroom fighting for his freedom. That man is Sean Diddy Combs, and the charges against him? They're straight out of a crime thriller, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and more. This isn't just a trial, it's a cultural earthquake. Diddy's empire, from Bad Boy Records to Sean John Clothing, is teetering on the edge. Allegations of abuse, coercion, and a criminal enterprise are threatening to topple a legacy that defined an era. And at the heart of it all is a legal weapon called RICO, designed to take down mob bosses and kingpins. But can it bring down a music mogul? And what does this mean for the industry we all love? Grab your popcorn, because we're about to unpack the wild world of racketeering charges, Diddy's fight for his life, and the ripple effect shaking up Hollywood. This is Celeb Insider, and trust us, you won't want to miss a second of this. What is racketeering? The crime that packs a punch. Let's start with the million-dollar question. What the heck is racketeering? If you're imagining Al Capone smoking a cigar while running a speakeasy, you're not totally off. But racketeering is way bigger than old-school gangsters. It's a crime that's all about patterns of illegal activities, done over and over to make money and keep power. Think of it like a spider web. Every thread is a crime, and together they form a dangerous network. The legal muscle behind racketeering charges is the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO for short. Passed in 1970, RICO was Congress's answer to organized crime syndicates like the Mafia, who were running illegal gambling, drug trafficking, and extortion rackets while hiding behind legit businesses. RICO said, "Not on our watch." It gave prosecutors a way to go after the big fish, the bosses calling the shots, not just the small fries doing the dirty work. Here's the breakdown of how RICO works, and trust us, it's juicy. The enterprise. This is the group at the center of the crime. It could be a mafia family, a street gang, a shady corporation, or even a loose crew of people working together. In Diddy's case, prosecutors say his empire, Bad Boy Records, Sean John, and other ventures, was the enterprise, a front for illegal activities. Pattern of racketeering activity. To nail someone with RICO, you need at least 2 predicate acts, specific crimes like murder, extortion, or sex trafficking, committed within a 10-year period. These acts have to be connected, showing a pattern of bad behavior. RICO lists 35 possible predicate acts, from bribery to wire fraud, and Diddy's case hinges on allegations of sex trafficking and forced labor. Connection to the enterprise. The defendant has to be tied to the enterprise, either running it, working for it, or profiting from its crimes. This is what makes RICO so deadly. It can take down the mastermind who never gets their hands dirty. Why is RICO such a big deal? Because it's like a legal sledgehammer. Convictions can mean up to 20 years in prison per count, massive fines, and the government seizing your assets. Your cars, your houses, your businesses. Plus, victims can sue for triple damages in civil court, hitting you where it hurts your wallet. For Diddy, facing RICO charges alongside sex trafficking, the stakes are sky high. One wrong move and his empire could crumble. But RICO's not just for mobsters anymore. It's been used to take down everyone from Wall Street crooks to college admissions scammers. In 1985, it nailed General Dynamics for defrauding the government. In 2019, it brought down parents in the Varsity Blues scandal, including celebs like Lori Loughlin. And in 2021, it helped convict R&B singer R. Kelly for running a sex trafficking ring, a case that's eerily similar to Diddy's. So when prosecutors slapped Diddy with RICO charges, they weren't playing around. They're aiming to dismantle his legacy. The history of RICO from mobsters to moguls. To really get why RICO is such a game-changer, let's rewind to the 1960s when organized crime was running wild in America. The mafia controlled entire industries, construction, shipping, even garbage collection, using violence and corruption to keep their power. They'd bribe politicians, intimidate witnesses, and launder money through legit businesses, making it nearly impossible to catch them. Enter the Kefauver Committee in 1950, a Senate group that exposed the mafia's grip on America. Their hearings were like a real-life Sopranos episode, shocking the nation with tales of mob bosses and crooked cops. By 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson's crime commission said enough was enough. They needed a law to hit organized crime where it hurt. That law was RICO, part of the 1970 Organized Crime Control Act, drafted by legal genius G. Robert Blakey. RICO's first big win came in 1980 when the Colombo crime family in New York got slammed for racketeering, but the real showstopper was the 1985 Mafia Commission case. Prosecutors, led by future Mayor Rudy Giuliani, indicted 9 top mafia bosses, alleging they ran a commission to coordinate crimes like extortion and murder. The result? Life sentences for guys like Anthony Fat Tony Salerno, and a massive blow to the mafia's power. Since then, RICO's been a Swiss Army knife for prosecutors. It's taken down street gangs like the Latin Kings, corrupt politicians like Rod Blagojevich, and even tech scammers running cybercrime rings. But it's not without drama. Some say RICO's too broad, letting prosecutors stretch the law to target people who aren't traditional criminals. In Diddy's case, his fans are crying foul, saying RICO's being used to smear a black icon. Others argue it's exactly the tool needed to hold powerful abusers accountable. Either way, RICO's starring role in this trial is must-watch TV. Now, let's get to the main event, Sean Diddy Combs' trial, which kicked off on May 5, 2025, in a Manhattan federal courtroom. Diddy's no stranger to the spotlight, founder of Bad Boy Records, mentor to Biggie Smalls, and a global brand with Sean John and Kyrock Vodka. But today, he's fighting for his freedom against charges that could lock him up for life. The indictment, unsealed in September 2024, is a 156-page bombshell, accusing Diddy of running a criminal enterprise from 2008 to 2024. The charges include Racketeering conspiracy, leading an enterprise that allegedly committed sex trafficking, forced labor, and obstruction of justice. Sex trafficking, coercing women into commercial sex acts using threats, violence, and drugs. Transportation for prostitution, moving people across state lines for illegal sex work. Prosecutors say Diddy's empire was a front for these crimes. They allege he used his wealth and influence to lure women into his orbit, then subjected them to abuse, coercion, and exploitation. The indictment paints a chilling picture. Women forced into sex acts at Diddy's parties, employees trapped in grueling conditions, and a network of associates helping cover it up. One accuser, Jane Doe, claims she was beaten and forced to comply with Diddy's demands. Another, Gina Hewen, alleges similar abuse. A key piece of evidence is a 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Diddy assaulting Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend. Cassie's 2023 civil lawsuit, settled out of court, accused Diddy of years of abuse, and the video, ruled admissible on April 25, 2025, backs up her claims. Prosecutors are using it to show a pattern of violence, a critical piece of their RICO case. But it's not just about Diddy. The indictment names associates, including former employees and security staff who allegedly helped run the enterprise. By using RICO, prosecutors can tie these players together, arguing that Diddy was the puppet master pulling the strings. Diddy's not going down without a fight. He's pleaded not guilty, and his legal team, led by Mark Agnifilo, is swinging hard. Their argument? Everything was consensual. They say the women accusing Diddy were in relationships with him, not victims, and that the allegations are a money grab. Many accusers have filed civil lawsuits which the defense claims are motivated by greed, not truth. In court, they've tried to block evidence like the hotel video, arguing it's too inflammatory and not directly tied to the charges. But Judge Aaron Subramanian's ruling to allow it was a gut punch. The defense is now focusing on witness credibility, painting accusers as opportunists chasing payouts, breaking the pattern, arguing the alleged acts don't form a RICO pattern or are too old. Diddy's character, highlighting his philanthropy and cultural impact to humanize him. Diddy's team has also leaned into public sentiment, with supporters rallying on X under #Justice for Diddy. They argue he's being targeted as a successful black man, a narrative that's gained traction among some fans. But with multiple accusers and damning evidence, the defense has a mountain to climb. As of May 7, 2025, the trial is heating up. Jury selection started on May 5th, and it's a circus. Finding impartial jurors is tough. Diddy's been a household name for decades, with hits like Mo Money Mo Problems and a reality TV presence. Jurors are being grilled about their knowledge of Diddy, their views on hip-hop, and whether they can stay unbiased. One juror was dismissed after admitting they'd seen the hotel video on TMZ. Opening statements are set for May 12th, when the real fireworks begin. The prosecution will lay out their case, likely calling accusers, former employees, and experts to testify. They'll use the hotel video, financial records, and text messages to build a narrative of a criminal enterprise. The defense will counter with witnesses who vouch for Diddy's character and challenge the accusers' stories. This trial could last months, with every day bringing new headlines. Celeb Insider will be here, breaking down the twists and turns from surprise witnesses to courtroom meltdowns. Trust us, you won't want to miss this. So why is racketeering the star of this legal show? Because RICO lets prosecutors tell a bigger story. Instead of charging Diddy for one-off crimes, they're saying his entire empire was a machine for illegal activity. The sex trafficking and forced labor allegations are the predicate acts, but RICO ties them together, showing a pattern of abuse and control. This approach is powerful, but risky. Prosecutors have to prove the enterprise existed, that Diddy ran it, and that the crimes were part of a coordinated effort. If they succeed, Diddy could face decades in prison. If they fail, the case could collapse, giving Diddy a chance to rebuild his reputation. RICO's also a cultural lightning rod. In Diddy's case, it's sparking debates about race, power, and justice. Some see it as a tool to hold a celebrity accountable. Others view it as a weapon to tear down a black icon. Either way, it's keeping us glued to the drama. The music industry under fire. Diddy's trial isn't just about him, it's a wake-up call for the music industry. For years, whispers of abuse and exploitation have swirled around hip-hop, but few have faced real consequences. This case could change that, exposing the dark side of fame and power. Artists are already reacting. Kesha's lyric change in TikTok, swapping feeling like P. Diddy for F***KP Diddy, sent shockwaves, signaling a shift in how artists address allegations. Other Bad Boy alumni like Mason the Locks have stayed quiet, but the pressure's on. Will they speak out or stay loyal to the man who launched their careers? Financially, Diddy's empire is taking hits. Sean John's sales are down, and Kirok's parent company is reportedly re-evaluating its deal with Diddy. If he's convicted, his businesses could be seized under RICO's forfeiture rules, a devastating blow to his $1 billion fortune. But the bigger impact is cultural. This trial ties into Me Too, shining a light on how power imbalances in music can silence victims. If Diddy's convicted, it could open the floodgates for more allegations, forcing the industry to rethink how it handles misconduct. Even if he's acquitted, the conversation started and there's no going back. Public reaction, a divided world. The public's split down the middle on Diddy's trial, and social media's a battlefield. On X, #Believe Victims is trending alongside #Justice for Diddy, with fans and critics duking it out. Supporters argue Diddy's being railroaded, pointing to his charitable work and cultural impact. He built hip-hop from the ground up. Why tear him down now? One X-user posted. But others are standing with the accusers. If Diddy did this, he deserves to rot, another user wrote, echoing calls for accountability. The hotel video has fueled outrage, with many saying it's proof of Diddy's guilt. Celebrities are treading lightly. Kesha's the loudest voice so far, but others are staying mum, likely fearing backlash. This divide reflects broader tensions, race, wealth, and the justice system. Diddy's supporters see a pattern of black icons being targeted, while his critics demand justice regardless of fame. It's a messy, emotional debate, and Celeb Insider's here to keep you in the loop. What could happen? Let's talk outcomes. If Diddy's convicted, he's looking at serious time. 20 years per RICO count, plus more for sex trafficking. With multiple charges, he could face life in a federal prison, where conditions are tough and parole's rare. Asset forfeiture could strip him of his mansions, cars, and businesses, leaving his empire in ruins. If he's acquitted, Diddy walks free, but the damage is done. Civil lawsuits from accusers could drain his finances, and his reputation's taken a hit. Rebuilding Bad Boy or Sean John will be an uphill battle, especially with the public's trust shaken. Either way, this trial's a turning point. It's reshaping how we see Diddy, the music industry, and the power of RICO. And for fans, it's a gut check. Can you separate the art from the artist? RICO in action. Other wild cases. To see why RICO's such a beast, let's look at other cases that made headlines. Mafia Commission Case, 1985. 9 mafia bosses got life sentences for running a crime syndicate, proving RICO could take down the untouchables. John Gotti, 1992. The Teflon Don was convicted for murder and racketeering, thanks to RICO and a turncoat witness. Enron, 2006. Execs Kenneth Lay and Jeffrey Skilling faced RICO-related charges for fraud, showing RICO's reach into corporate crime. R. Kelly, 2021. Convicted for racketeering and sex trafficking, Kelly's case set the stage for Diddy's, with eerie parallels. These cases show RICO's power to tackle big players, whether they're mobsters or moguls. Diddy's trial is the latest chapter, and it's writing history as we speak. The legal play-by-play for our law nerds, here's how a federal trial like Diddy's works. Jury selection. Jurors are vetted for bias, a tricky process given Diddy's fame. Expect a diverse jury, with alternates in case someone drops out. Opening statements. The prosecution and defense lay out their stories, setting the tone for the trial. Evidence and witnesses. Prosecutors will bring accusers, experts, and physical evidence like the hotel video. The defense will counter with character witnesses and challenges to credibility. Closing arguments. Both sides make their final pitch, summing up weeks of testimony. Verdict and sentencing. The jury decides, and if guilty, the judge hands down a sentence, which could be appealed. This trial's a marathon, not a sprint. With hundreds of exhibits and dozens of witnesses, it could stretch into 2026. Celeb Insider's got your back, with updates on every bombshell moment. Expert takes, what the pros say. Legal minds are buzzing about this case. Criminal defense attorney Sarah Johnson, a pseudonym, told us, RICO's a beast in cases like this. The prosecution's got a mountain of evidence, but the defense can exploit any weak link in the pattern. Former prosecutor Michael Lee adds, the hotel video's a game changer. It's visceral, emotional, and hard to ignore. Diddy's team needs a miracle to spin it. Industry insiders are also weighing in. Music exec Jane Carter, another pseudonym, said, this trial's exposing cracks in the industry. If Diddy goes down, others might follow. The consensus? This case is a landmark and its ripples will be felt for years. The bigger picture, culture and change. Diddy's trial is more than a courtroom drama. It's a cultural flashpoint. It's tied to Hash Me Too, exposing how fame can shield abuse. Young artists, especially women, face immense pressure in the industry, and this case could empower them to speak out. It's also raising questions about fandom. Can you still vibe to Bad Boy for life if Diddy's guilty? The trial's shining a light on systemic issues, race, power, and accountability. Some see Diddy as a victim of a biased system. Others see him as a predator who abused his status. These debates are reshaping how we talk about celebrity and justice, and they're not going away anytime soon. What's coming next? As the trial rolls on, expect more drama. Key moments to watch. Witness testimonies. Accusers like Cassie's allies or former employees could drop bombshells. New evidence. Prosecutors might unveil more videos or documents, tightening the noose. Defense moves. Diddy's team could call surprise witnesses or challenge the RICO framework. Celeb Insiders on the case, bringing you every update from courtroom sketches to X-reactions. This is the story of the year, and we're your front row seat. Conclusion. A trial for the ages. Sean Diddy Combs' trial is more than a legal battle. It's a clash of culture, power, and truth. Racketeering charges have turned a music legend into a defendant, and the world's watching to see if his empire will stand or fall. Whether you're Team Diddy or Team Justice, one thing's clear. This case is rewriting the rules of fame. At Celeb Insider, we're here for it all. The drama, the stakes, the gossip. Keep it locked on our channel for the latest updates, deep dives, and unfiltered takes on the stories that matter. Diddy's trial is just the beginning, and trust us, Hollywood's got more secrets to spill. Until next time, stay curious, stay tuned, and keep it real with Celeb.